good. That was a good little reminisce.
All right. Anna Lucasta.
Can you give me just not a summary or anything, and not this thing, but just like give me a genre? I need to mention
Drama.
Okay.
I thought it was a musical.
I don't think so. You would think it is because it stars 2 singers.
Yeah.
I don't think it is.
Huh.
Yeah.
It'll be a pleasant surprise if it is.
It will be. In a world where tomorrow's blockbusters reign,
And yesterday's classics are forgotten.
3 women intend to remember.
Hey everyone, welcome to Millennials at the Movie House, the podcast where your average Janes watch older movies and answer the question we've put to ourselves. Are they still relevant and should we still be watching them today? I'm Betsy.
I'm Tracy.
And I'm Serena.
And today we we are talking about Anna Lucasta. It's 1958, written by Philip Jordan and directed by Arnold Lavin, starring Eartha Kitt, Sammy Davis Jr., Frederick O'Neill, Henry Scott, and Rex Ingram.
Okay.
Synopsis, Tracy, go.
A year later.
It's been like 30 episodes at this point.
Okay. Entering on a bar, we see a girl who is kind of loose, a drinker, goes with the flow. Not a good girl. We find out that she has been kicked out of her house because she's been loose.
Loose as a goose.
So her family finds out that a friend of the father's son is looking for a wife, and to a point where he'll pay money for a wife. Mm-hmm. So they decide that, well, let's bring her back to the family and try to marry this girl off to get this money. She kind of has an on-again, off-again relationship with
Danny,
who's Sammy Davis Jr., and she kind of but leaves him to go home with her father. And they realize that this guy who they thought they'd be able to pull one over on is actually very smart. So they're like, oh, this plan isn't going to work there. He's going to see that, she's not, wife material. But they actually end up falling in love with each other because Eartha Kitt, Anna, is very honest with them. She's like, look, this is who I am. Take it or leave it. And he's like, but I'll take it because I'm in love with you.
Yeah, I'll take the risk.
It was very sweet.
Meanwhile, her dad is a monster and basically
really
ruins her life and
his
and the guy
Rudolph's.
she's gonna marry by talking to his boss, saying you don't want to hire this guy because he's marrying a slut.
That's what happened.
And
sorry, not sorry.
So she finds out, and basically, timing of it all is that Danny, comes to basically rescue her. And he's like, you wrote me, you told me, and she's like, yeah, but I didn't realize I was going to fall in love. But he kind of does save her from her dad, who was basically ruining her life again. And she kind of goes off on the deep end and goes back to the drinking and the dancing and everything. And they need money to basically leave the town, so they go back to the house to get her trousseau. And in doing so, she finds her father on her deathbed, and he dies. And Sammy does the right thing. Danny does the right thing and kind of leaves, and she kind of goes back with Rudolph. We assume.
We have to be assumed.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just this poor girl, but we also find out that she didn't really do anything to deserve being kicked out of the house.
Right.
And she becomes this person that her father thinks she is because she gets kicked out of the house, not beforehand.
Yeah.
So
She got kicked out of the house supposedly because she had a boyfriend in high school.
Right.
And the father's unhinged.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's unhinged. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
And, like,
he's,
religious to an extreme
bad degree.
but like psycho.
Yeah.
And like also drunk. Did we mention drunk? He's a drunk.
He's a drunk.
So
Yeah,
that was the story. It was kind of dark. Like
It was a drama. Like
it was a drama, but I mean, we were laughing. There were funny parts.
Lots of funny one-liners.
And I think everything we assume will turn out for the best.
Yeah.
We hope.
Once I realized Frank was harmless, he was actually funny.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until after I realized he was harmless.
Yeah. That's the brother-in-law.
Yeah.
I was getting like a family sitcom vibe.
Yes.
There was a lot of in the kitchen or in the house, family household, like, dialogue.
Right, and that even the very first scene that we see the family interacting, I was like, this is a real family. I feel this. This is
Drama
real.
and
Like,
all.
I've been in that
I've
conversation.
been, yeah. They're talking to each other very familiarly, and yeah,
Relatable.
it was, yeah. Good synopsis.
Thanks.
Good
Thank
job.
you.
Yeah, I think that Anna had a little bit of the alcoholism hand-me-down gene.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw her going down a slippery slope,
Right.
and I was like, she may or may not.
Well, I think Danny saw that too. At
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah.
I ended up liking Danny. At first, I was like, I didn't think that father was going to be the person that I was going to be. So once he took the cane to the wedding cake, I was like, you're a monster.
Oh, before that.
But yeah, but when he went down and he was all like,
It wasn't until the
smug.
cake was destroyed that a line was crossed for Serena.
Yeah, the line was crossed. He crossed a line, and he just didn't give a hoot. He was just like, oh, I'll just go down to the college. He was all sneakily listening from the other room. Oh, what's that? He's getting a job here. Let me go and like.
He could barely
No,
get out
he
of
went-
bed the day before.
He
but
was convinced to go
Right?
get her from the bar to bring her back home. But then when she was trying on her wedding dress, and she was like, oh, or sing me that song, and she like touched his shoulder, and like
It, like,
he
snapped.
freaked out because
Yeah.
this like,
hussy.
touched him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely. It wasn't just alcoholism.
Oh no.
He had
Yeah.
like something going on.
Well, and I even think like
mental
Frank
illness.
in the first scene that we meet them, Frank was like, "Yeah, there's a psychotic side of it too. There's a psychosis happening."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That they did mention that. I
Yeah.
know. I just feel like, I don't know. I just question about people's upbringing when they come out like that. Like, how do you turn out like that? Like, was he just like beaten by a Bible as growing up?
Could have been.
Well, they talked about that. What did they talk? Wait, they mentioned something about that. Hang on, sorry.
It was. He said
Oh,
something about his father or something.
But his father was a drunk. Stanley called his father a drunk
Yeah, but then he got upset about it. Like, don't call him that.
because he doesn't want to admit that he's a drunk too. Yeah.
I just feel like he thought his daughter wasn't worthy of love, and once he realized that whole sham of a marriage and this and that actually was real and it was legit, he was like, oh, hell no, we're putting an end to this. And like,
It's
literally,
one thing to try to get her away from him. It's another to actually sabotage her life.
oh, fully sabotage. Yeah, he was sick in the head.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of like family dynamics that go down.
Yeah, because I didn't like. I said like, okay, if she was his only daughter, I could kind of understand how I don't know why I think I could understand it better, but he had an older daughter. He had
Another daughter, yeah.
another daughter, and then I could understand it if, like you said, she pushed it away from the family, but then because she's like a burden or whatever. But now she's marrying a respectable man, and
That's every parent's dream,
right? Like I feel like he was ashamed because she would never be able to have that, but here she is, and she's allowed that. I don't know.
That he just went off the deep end.
He did. He just.
I read it as the religious side. I read it as she has sullied her name to the point where she's not going to get into heaven, and she's sullying our family enough that we're not going to get into heaven. So I don't know. Like
why
punish? You punish yourself until you're forgiven. Like it's like it's that style of religion.
Yeah.
I was going to say that style of religion. Yeah.
How did we like it, guys?
I wasn't bored.
No.
It kept me. I took 0 notes because I was so. I mean, like we said before, it was dialogue driven.
It was dialogue.
I didn't want to miss anything, and I was like, there was so much going on that I knew if I was like, I guess I'm just gonna have to pause it to take a note, and then I just like couldn't stop watching it. I was like glued.
I had a hard time following what was going on for the first half hour to an hour. I had to keep checking in with you guys to be like, okay, this means this, this means that, and I don't know if it's just. I think a lot of older movies.
They just jump right in.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of there's not too much backstory. I've noticed that. Like, I was kind of lost too. I was like, wait a minute, who's who?
It was very
what's what?
It was very exposition heavy early on, all in the dialogue.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of them telling us, okay, here's your backstory. You need to catch up. Yeah.
That's why I was like laser focused, because I was like, shh, if I look away, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
And then, and it's funny because it was, I want to say it was when Rudolph arrived that was when I was like, oh, okay. Like I felt engaged at that point, because up until then it was like me. I felt like I was trying to keep up. I was trying to figure out
Yeah.
what was going on.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
There was a
and then once
change
Rudolph
in
got there,
pace.
it was like, yeah, the pacing changed.
Yep.
And it was like, okay, you're caught up. We're gonna play this out normally now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I felt that too.
Having said that, I did enjoy it because I think the acting was very good. It was
Spot on.
It was, and it goes back to like the family dynamics. Like you felt like they were a family. It was very real. It wasn't a pretend conversation where we're gonna spell everything out for you. You were just entered into this scene where this is life. This is what's going on right now. This is what we're talking about. You got to pick up who's who and what's going on.
We just moved into the neighborhood, and these are our new neighbors.
Exactly.
And we're just here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Eartha Kitt. I mean,
God, she was phenomenal.
amazing.
Really, really
Amazing.
good.
I mean, she's gorgeous. I don't know what it is. Her eyes are just so striking and beautiful, and
It's her
her
bone
voice.
structure,
I mean,
too.
and
So unique.
It
and
is unique.
Beautiful. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I actually didn't, because I know her as a singer, I actually didn't realize, I mean, I knew she acted, but this was good acting. Like,
Yeah.
she's a good actress.
are you saying the 1960s Batman isn't good acting?
I will never say that again after watching Eartha Kitt in this. That said, Sammy Davis Jr. also surprised me.
He was
He
good.
really went for it. And I
I'm sorry,
appreciated
he's
that.
adorable.
He
I
was,
didn't expect him to be that
Yeah,
adorable.
He was
little.
little.
He's a little funny looking, but in a cute way,
Right.
in an endearing way.
He uses it
Yeah.
to his advantage. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I think he might be 4'11". We should look that up. But yeah, no, he was.
He was Eartha Kitt's height, and she's
Yeah,
a
and
little
she's-
lady.
yeah.
Yeah.
But going back to Batman for a minute, we are 2 for 4 for Batman bad guys. We had Cesar Romero in Julia Misbehaves, and now
yeah.
we have Eartha Kitt, Catwoman,
And we didn't even mean to. Who are the other two?
the Penguin and Riddler.
The actors, please.
The Penguin and the Riddler.
This is a documentary. Did you not know this?
Are
I don't know their
you?
names.
We'll figure it out. She's just gonna like randomly be like, "Hey, maybe we should watch this movie."
I think
Yeah,
we
right?
should. I'm
Yeah.
serious.
All right, let's jump in, guys. All right, top of the marquee. What was everyone's favorite part? Serena.
Ooh. Anna slaps Danny in the bar. Right? Am I right there?
Yeah.
People, names, words. That was good. She just like
Okay.
I know it's like not supposed to be my favorite part, but it's like she
No,
like
but-
put him in his place. Like there was all this men smacking women in the movie, and I'm just like, boom, she comes in like
Was it better than her putting a cigarette out on the guy's neck in the first
No,
scene?
that was better.
That was amazing.
Oh, is that what that was? I thought she bit him.
No.
Oh.
And it was great because he's trying to
Oh.
force herself on him, and then you see her like,
Give in.
right, it is, and she kind of like looks at him like changes, and it's like this sexy look, and then like seconds, and she
Yeah,
like burns him
burns
with
him.
the cigarette, and like,
I forgot about that. Yeah, because he's like, now you're making me mad.
yeah,
Okay. Was he the owner of the bar?
No, he
No,
had a
no.
nightclub or something.
yeah,
But I will allow the Danny slap.
that was
Yeah.
good because he.
I forgot about that. I didn't know. I
his
thought she
only
bit him.
reason. I mean, they were kind of pushing each other back and forth, and he was gonna smack her back, but he doesn't. And granted, I don't.
That's what I was gonna say. He didn't smack.
Yeah, and I mean.
Not saying
We
it's
kind of
right.
decided that he's a good guy underneath.
he is, yeah.
But the line, I think it was, I'm not going to the chair for beating up a woman or
Yeah,
something.
beating you to a pulp or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I know
the
it's.
movie.
I know. I always pick these parts as like my favorite. It's just like something that stood out to me. Because
No, you like
there
the
was-
women fighting back.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
don't like. I hate this like oppression thing.
Which, do we want to talk about?
Yeah, I made a point during the podcast that we seem to be picking these movies, not intentionally, where the main character, like the woman, is very sassy. She stands up for herself. She's not that...
Funny, she should
Damsel in
mention that.
distress,
She
kind of
cannot.
like
I mean,
submissive.
Yeah.
Remember this.
She
I'm
doesn't
recording it.
smile. She doesn't, bend to the will. I don't know.
Yeah, he did
She's-
in the first scene. He said something like, "Oh, why don't you put a smile on?" or something. It's like, shut
and
up.
she's I don't know, sassy's just the word, and like I don't know.
She's fierce.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I
She
did.
really is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do we just expect people back then not to be that, so we're surprised when they are?
Yes.
Or
For me.
I think that I am subconsciously picking female-led movies.
okay, fair enough.
Speaking of which, I wanted to point out that, yeah, there was the wives. She was the only female character. The other ones were, not to say they were just wives, because that's not, but I felt like she was like even, okay, so on this list, it's literally like the main top people, and it's Anna, Danny, Frank, Rudolph, and Joe. Anna's the only, like, leading female.
That said, I do
But
feel like
she's-
we picked Katie out like immediately. She got on screen and we were like,
Yeah.
"Who is that?" Because you could tell that she was she stood up for herself in quiet ways. I really liked her character.
I think they did with all of the women, actually. They captured this, I think like a moment in time where you could see the women behind the scenes were actually the ones pushing the husbands, because they knew that they couldn't actually do anything. But they could manipulate the situation in a way to make the men do it.
Yep.
Because it was the Mother Teresa who was like, you need to convince my husband to let my daughter back in this house.
Yep.
And she was the one, and you can see the two wives, they, Joe, was it Joe that
The father?
No, Frank. He would say something like mean about his wife, and she'd like not give it right back to him, but like she'd be like, no, knock it off.
Yeah, you
And
could tell he was afraid of her.
right?
Yeah.
And same with the other way around with the other wife, and
Yep, Stanley was kind of a moron,
yeah.
and Katie was like, I'm just gonna lead you.
right,
It's
you know.
fine.
So it was
Like,
you could see that it was the women were driving it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they did that on purpose, but they still obviously, like you said, it was a male cast except for Hannah, but I don't know.
$4,000 was equal to $30,000. Just a side note.
$35,000.
$35,000 is what they were going to be supposedly buying a wife for. Although that wasn't even Rudolph's plan; it was his father's.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
So your favorite part was
Oh God.
her slapping Sammy.
One of my
Danny.
favorite parts.
Danny.
One of my favorite parts.
Do you have other favorite parts?
I'll think about them.
All right,
They
Tracy.
might come back later.
I have two.
Okay.
My you're good and you're great. My good is the upside down hat.
Oh my,
Oh my
God,
God,
that was such a
yes.
funny
So
bit.
the mother comes downstairs because they're going to the church to get married, and the mother is wearing her church hat, and she goes, "Oh, what was the girl's name? Stella, you make such great hats." And it is this hat, and there are baubles just hanging all like big.
It looks outrageous.
It does, and you're like, "Oh my Lord!" And Stella is like, "You have it on upside down." And she's like, "Oh, what does it matter?" And she turns it around and puts it back on her head, and all of a sudden, it's this beautiful hat.
Yeah. It was just it was such a little moment. It didn't have to be in there. It was between two. It was a comedic bit between two women.
Oh my gosh, is that the
Does it pass the Bechdel?
Yeah,
totally.
it passed the Bechdel test.
Yeah.
Bechdel. I said Bechdel. Betsy. Does it pass the Betsy test?
The Betsy test. So I thought that was just a little thing.
That was cute.
I love that scene too. I forgot about that one.
But my actual favorite of the movie was the background music.
Oh
It
yeah.
really, really drives the whole emotion of everything.
Yep.
Specifically, what I would catch is every single time Sammy Davis Jr. Was on screen, he had a theme song. You could pick it up. You knew he was coming because it was this little jazzy tune. That's Sammy Davis.
That's Sammy Davis.
I mean, clearly, he had like his own intro music. Did you hear it? It was the piano.
that he probably
He probably
played
did, yeah.
himself.
See, he's got theme music every time he like goes anywhere. It's like. I mean, obviously, Sammy.
The music. You're right. Every time.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
came on and it was his. And I think if I had paid attention more, like the family also had a theme. When we went back to the family, they kind of had this wholesome like melody to it.
Mhm.
So it had, and every scene had this very emotionally charged music behind it.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree with you. And the entire time, so when I handed this out to everybody, you assumed it was going to be a musical
Yeah.
because the stars Eartha Kitt and Sammy Davis Jr. And we're like, it's
What
not a
is-
musical. What
Right.
the hell is
What is
happening
Sammy
here?
Did have that, I'm gonna call it the singing in the rain
Like
Chemistry?
moment. When he does the dance. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. We have that
It
little
was that
moment, that
that
interlude.
moment, like it was, and it was well timed because it was like them going down the rabbit hole. They were
was.
getting drunk and dancing, and they didn't know it was just this wild ride. And he had this like dance scene. I think it was like in her. I don't know.
Partially in her head in
Yeah.
the club. Yeah, yeah.
Guys, that whole thing confused me. The whole she got married and then she was gone for 10 days. Or
Well,
whatever.
she ran from her problems.
Yeah.
Well, her father ruined her life and her husband, so
No, I know, but like he stuck around and she was MIA.
yeah, I don't know
That
why
whole-
he stuck around, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because he loved her. He was praying, hoping
did
that
say-
that she was coming
Right,
back.
but
He did say he was willing to
wouldn't
take
he
the risk.
find out that the father went down and tried to ruin his job?
Well, yeah, but maybe he didn't care about that.
He knew he wasn't well.
He still loved her, and he still wanted to be with her.
That I get. You would think he would be pissed at the family.
Oh, that's fair.
You know what I mean? Like he wouldn't be staying with them.
Yeah, but it wasn't the family; it was just Joe. And I think everyone acknowledged that Joe was like, whatever he's dealing with.
Yeah. I just was shocked. I was like, wait, is she really at the bar right now? Like, not like at the bar.
Well, her father had convinced her that this was all she was good for.
Right. Yeah.
And then on his dying bed, spoiler alert, he dies. He's like, my angel, my angel.
I think it was like I don't know, like remembering her as a little girl.
Yeah.
Well, I think that if you're looking at this from a bird's eye view, the romance is between her and her father. That's the relationship that is the primary focus of this entire movie.
Yeah.
So, of course, you have to have that forgiveness at the end. But I think that that's why we didn't get the reunion between her and Rudolph, because that wasn't, quote, the point of the movie. The
Yeah,
point
but I
was-
still don't think that was forgiveness. He didn't say he was sorry.
No.
Or it was.
Right. Forgiveness was, well, you're right.
It wasn't. He was
you're
in.
right.
He was in his deathbed, like.
Stupor.
Yeah, I don't think he realized what was there.
Yeah, she got that little ghost of love, of the love that she should have been getting the whole time.
Yeah.
That's why she was crying, because it was the love that she was never going to actually get.
Right.
But hopefully she'll get that from Rudolph.
Yeah. I liked Rudolph.
Yeah, Rudolph was sweet. Okay, so you're good and you're great. Trey,
That was it.
that was it.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thanks.
Betsy,
welcome.
what's your favorite
I'm
part?
just bringing it back around.
Got it.
Because we got off course again.
Okay.
So
Betsy, what was your favorite part?
thank you, Serena. All right, my favorite part was the price tags.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, I didn't see them. I didn't pay-
Because
I was so focused on them.
Explain.
raised by an antique dealer, I can tell you for a fact that you will find price tags on at least 50% of the things in your house. Because at any given moment, they're going to be sold. And that was what was happening. I didn't notice it until they sat down for dinner. I want to say it was like the second or third time we see them sit down for dinner. And there was a price tag on the chairs. And I'm like, yep, that's right. That's correct. Because Frank
So
is
that's
an
why
antique
everything
dealer.
was on the front lawn when they came back.
Right. He's an antique dealer. That's his home. That's his home and his business.
Yeah.
So like even like the couch and the lamp, they all had price tags on
Yeah.
them. I
So they
loved
put everything
that.
on the front lawn during the day and
Right.
bring it all in at night. Sounds like-
I didn't get that when he was bringing in that statue. I'm like, what is he? And then I got it.
I've just now got it.
And then you equated that to Gilmore Girls.
Yes.
Lane's mother did
Yep.
the same thing.
Yep.
It's very, I appreciated that little detail. It
Yeah.
didn't have to be there, but it was. Anyway. All right. Guys,
Guys.
we're going to be famous. If everyone was a character in the film, who would we be?
Serena, go.
Serena, go.
Okay.
She does her own intro. I'm okay with it.
Tracy, you're Anna.
Really?
Yeah,
Woo!
and the reason is I just got
I finally
sweaty
got
palms.
main
You
star
did.
billing here.
No, I did this because out of everyone that I wrote down, every character, I don't know what it is, but it's the sassiness, and then you brought it up. if you go back to the first few minutes, that she brings it up, these sassy characters. And so I knew I picked the right person for Tracy when she went on about that. The sass, and in a good way.
Oh, yeah.
Strong female sass.
I would burn
Tracy,
a guy with a cigarette.
Tracy's here.
Yeah.
Tracy's here.
Good job.
Here.
Yep. Love it.
So.
I picked for Tracy Noah.
Really?
Because
And just sit back and watch the drama unfold.
let me read
Yeah.
let me read this.
Yeah, I
You
can see
all
that.
are a bunch of morons. Let me tell you how to properly live your life.
And I
yes,
quote.
I approve.
There we go.
So, she's Noah with the sass.
Yeah.
Yep.
Noah had sass.
Noah
You
is-
cannot tell me otherwise.
And he's like, get out of my bar.
Are we doing me?
Yeah.
Okay.
You do you.
I picked Ma, Teresa, for myself.
Mother Teresa.
Uh-huh.
Oh, really?
Because granted, I wish I and hope I don't marry a Joe, but I think I would be
Terrible.
behind the scenes pushing everybody.
Mm-hmm,
Like, even during the proposal, she's like, no, you're gonna get married. And she like made Joe go and bring her home.
Yeah.
And like, it was her family.
Yeah.
Like, they stayed, I mean, the girls and the son-in-law and the daughter-in-law loved her.
Yeah.
Like, helped her out, do everything. They were there
For her. Yeah. I actually put Teresa for myself for mostly the same reasons, but mostly, well, some of the same reasons, but mostly it was just her being like, I just want everyone to be one big happy family. That's what, that was Teresa in my brain. And she had the funny one-liners. What was the quote I liked from her?
Let me set this up the scene, because this is why I also liked her, is they were looking for the topper to the wedding cake. And she's like, it's in a box under the bed in the stairs.
The bride and groom.
Right.
They're under the bed.
Right. And it was just like, I came to you today and was like, where's that box with that? Anyway, the quote was, because the guy, after she was looking for it, was like, how do you, like,
Why does Katie understand
What
that when
that
you're looking for the
means?
bride and groom under the bed, she understood that?
Right. So she goes, women just play dumb. Men are born that way.
That's such a
Yep.
great line.
Yeah.
Such a great line.
Yeah.
Love me some
Sums up
Teresa.
this kind of theme of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yep.
Can I go for Betsy?
Mhm.
Betsy, you are Lester.
Oh, I'm okay with that. I'm
Yeah.
totally okay with
You
that.
are Lester, and I have in parentheses, good person.
Oh.
She's the good one. She's like, I'm actually not a
I
good person.
didn't put Lester for her, but I will add to your reasons why, is because he's the best friend to Danny, and after she leaves with her dad, he's like, "What just happened?" And he like explain. He's like, "This like."
Let me
explain-
walk you through what
right,
just happened.
I forget what the line is, but he's like, she's trying to like
Yeah.
egg you on or something, whatever
She
she
doesn't want to
says.
sleep with you. She wants to marry you.
Right,
and-
yeah. So
Yeah,
he
she
had
was willing to
just
give
met
her
her
whole life.
5 minutes before, and he could read the entire situation and explain it to him.
Yeah, so he said, you foiled my plans for the night. You foiled our night. And
Yeah.
he was like, well, she was going to give you her whole life. She was
Right.
ready to give you her whole life.
Yes.
And yeah.
And so Lester could see that she was a quality human being.
Right.
I would like to add, I totally agree with that, to the point where I remember when Lester came in, I was like, oh, is she going to end up with him? Because I zoned right in on him.
Yeah,
I was
he
like,
was-
no, him.
He
She wants him.
Tall, handsome, stoic.
He was very good looking.
Yeah.
He was like, and he was, that kind
Yeah.
hearted,
Yeah.
you know.
He was adorable. But no, he was just a one-scene character.
Yeah. I had for
Underrated.
you, we're doing
Yeah.
Betsy, right? I had Katie for you.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
You
okay
you
with that.
married the sweet brother.
He was a little derpy,
He
but
was, but he was the good one.
Yeah.
And you were like this under Ma. You were like you were actually the one
Yeah.
getting it done. Like she had all the dreams, but you were like, all right, no, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be back in the kitchen.
I actually had Katie for Serena.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I had Katie for myself.
Did you?
I had Katie for
Get
myself.
points.
I got Katie. Well, okay. Sorry. Go ahead. You go first.
I don't know if I actually had like a really solid reason, more than just like, it was almost like what you said about Lester. You kind of just like read the family, you understand everyone's kind of thought patterns, and you're just like, and Katie is just like, okay, this is what's actually happening, this is what we're gonna actually do.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, down, like a good head on her shoulders.
Other than the mother, she was the only one that was like, we need to give her a second chance, we need to give her the benefit of the doubt and bring her back here. And
she defended Anna before we even saw Anna.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Well, I appreciate those reasons. I have a much more shallow reason.
Was she gorgeous?
Oh, well, that one too. Yeah, she was super
I think,
pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had, because she said something about going back to the kitchen, and that's where I like to spend most of my time, and not for cooking, for eating. So that's kind of why I was just like, you know what, Katie, boom.
Who did you have for Serena?
I had Anna.
Woo!
Wow.
Because you're the one that is always like, I like the sassy girl.
Yep.
Always,
Me
every
and Tracy
single
have
time.
this weird, like, we read each other's sass. Like, sass reads sass.
Yeah, good job. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
You stole mine. Wait a minute.
That was anticlimactic. Oh, Lord.
How?
Betsy is here.
Oh, somebody's here. Somebody's been here all day. Were you
I
here?
was here. I was way here before you.
She was here, but I don't remember why.
I don't know why, but I was definitely here.
Tracy entered the building, but I'm not quite sure how, when, or why. It was in the beginning.
How has this movie influenced or been influenced by other movies?
This is the one I had 0 for, so you go ahead and skip me for this. You guys go ahead.
I had
Tracy,
more
go.
of like a reminiscent, because I don't think I could think of anything that it influenced or was influenced by, other than it was based on an earlier movie and a play.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. It was kind of just more like, oh, this reminds me of this thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Bits and
So-
pieces.
I got a Meet Me in St. Louis vibe.
Oh, I forgot about that movie.
Bets, have you seen it yet?
I haven't seen it yet.
So it was the family. It was a family dynamic. So it was told in 4 seasons, like just 4 clips of their lives throughout the year. And this was very family centric, and so was Meet Me in St. Louis. And the main push in Meet Me in St. Louis was to get his daughters married.
Mm-hmm.
And he
Oh my God, that's
and
right.
the father in it, he was more kind-hearted, but he was definitely like, he was the head of the household, and when he was going to move, they were going to move, and everybody was going to listen to what he was, so he wasn't quite as crazy as this man was with his daughter, but it kind of give that family vibe of marriage is important, how are we going to take care of this family, that kind of thing. So
1944.
yeah, it was earlier.
So,
To that point, there was another movie that made me think of it too, Bringing Up Baby, which was 30s, or so it was earlier, but it was the same thing where it was like, which guy is she gonna pick? Like, that was the question. And the reason why I thought of it was because in this movie, for whatever reason, in Anna Lucasta, I couldn't follow the storyline enough to predict the storyline.
Yes.
It wasn't a known story structure, in my opinion. So whenever a new guy was introduced, I was like, who in God's name is she supposed to end up with? Like,
Right.
I couldn't figure it out.
Yep.
And I think Bringing Up Baby, if I recall correctly, I had the same issue with that movie too, where and the whole point was that she had 3 different guys that she was picking between, but yeah, like, you can't predict it, you can't figure it out, so you just kind of have to wait till the end. So both those movies, I felt like that did that.
I have another one that I thought of, and it wasn't until we started talking about it where you said that the main focus of this film was the relationship between the father and daughter. And it actually made me think of Saving Mr. Banks. For the sole purpose of the author of Mary Poppins says, you think this movie is about Mary Poppins? No, it's about, or the children. No, it's about Mr. Banks, and we're trying to break, which
You think she's there to save the children.
right, and
Dear me.
it's not. It's there to save Mr. Banks, which you almost wish in this movie that there was someone to kind of turn Joe around, to have that moment. And like the death scene kind of was there, but I still think he was in this delusional,
Yeah, you're right.
not
You're right
quite
about that.
in his right mind thing. But so that it made me think of just the relationships of, it's not who you think it actually is about. It was about the father-daughter relationship compared to her finding a true love.
Yeah. Yep. But I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out like the moral of this
Yeah.
movie. Like,
Because he
Yeah.
died, they just like killed off the problem,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Ladies, please remove your hats and silence your cell phones. How does this film hold up? The film kind of held up, but like we were talking
Yeah.
about, the family dynamics are still definitely there, and
We were laughing.
oh yeah.
There was a lot of
Oh,
funny
yeah.
I feel like other than the whole a woman needs to get married, which in the time, if you wanted to, live and
Yeah.
Anyway, there wasn't really. You didn't really know when it was set.
Right. They were kind of nondescript. You could tell by the cars. But that's about it.
Yeah, the fashion was great. I didn't think it
fashion
was.
was great.
It wasn't
oh my God,
too
her
period.
date,
I
her
think.
date outfit.
Oh yeah,
And her
The
wedding
hat,
dress.
Yeah,
Oh
wedding-
my God, yeah.
Even her bar dress.
yeah.
It had that like great silhouette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outfits held up.
Outfits held up. The zealotry of Joe, I think, would be a difficult thing to find nowadays, but again, it was understandable.
Greedy?
The what?
Oh, like
The zealotry, the
yeah,
religious
I
level.
was gonna say, dumb it down for me.
You would just transition that into like just shame or something like
yeah,
that, or
Yeah, it
Making
still
you look
fit.
bad,
It didn't
yeah.
like it still held up.
All right.
Boom, we fixed it. Guys, I mean,
We fixed it.
we didn't see the Rudolph and Anna reunion.
Yeah. What the hell?
I don't know.
I'm ready.
Oh, you mean we didn't actually see it? Okay, yeah. I thought you said you didn't see it coming.
No,
Okay,
no,
okay,
no,
yeah, yeah,
no,
No,
no.
we
that
saw
was-
his.
you're right.
We saw his face, kid
He
kid
was
on
so
Christmas.
excited.
Yeah.
Kid
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Christmas.
yeah.
He realized
It was
the guy was
precious.
driving away, and he was like, "My bride, she's
Yeah.
upstairs."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked Danny when he was gonna take off after he saw Anna like crying and needs to be home or whatever. He was gonna leave, but you see him in the car, and then he smiles like he's okay with this, and it's because he drives off and you pan and you see the whole family with Rudolph.
Yeah.
So he knows that he
Oh,
hasn't left.
yeah.
Things are gonna be okay. and
Anna will
he's-
be okay.
and he's okay with that.
That's right. I forgot about that. I like that. I should put that in one of my favorite scenes. Is that he smiled and was like, and I'm like, well, why is he acting smug? And then they pan out and show the whole family
Yeah.
with the Rudolph right there on the edge. Yeah, I like that.
I think we assume he was running in. We
Yeah.
can assume that they had a nice little
Oh
reunion.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think the only way to have fixed it is to have the apology, to have that conversation, even on his deathbed, and not a delusional whatever, but to really be like, I see you. I want you to be happy. Marry Rudolph or whatever.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Joe needed to have a
Redeem
change
himself,
of heart.
yeah.
yeah, and Anna had to get that love that she's been wanting this
Yeah.
whole time. I agree. I absolutely agree with you. But if that may not have been the moral that the writer wanted to give, maybe
Yeah.
maybe
No,
you're not always going to get that forgiveness.
Right.
You're not always going to get that.
Because you
that
don't.
res-
That's
that
not-
resolution.
Yeah.
Note roundup. What do people got?
We've already touched on it, but I put relatable family dynamics.
Yes, definitely. I'm very proud of myself because it was like 3/4 of the way through the movie that I was like, Stella looks familiar. And she's the grandmother from Family Matters. I was so proud of that. I loved Family Matters growing up. Anyway.
And who did you say?
Oh yeah. Eartha Kitt looks like.
Tatiana Ali.
Yeah.
She does. I'm
Yeah.
not the only, the internet agrees. I checked.
Did you?
The
Yes.
internet has spoken.
Spoken.
I have 2 notes that I wrote down. They were quotes that I had, and they were like 2 seconds apart from each other.
I mean, is it even a podcast episode if you don't have at least
that's
2
true.
quotes?
I mean,
There was one. Do
there
you remember
actually
there
has
was
been a
like
couple.
yeah.
There's been a couple.
It was rare.
I know. It was the proposal scene where Rudolph is proposing to Anna, and her mother has obviously been lurking in the corners listening to this whole thing. And at first Anna refuses because she's like, no, this is crazy. We've known each other for 10 days and, no, I'm not, this is not going to work. And her mother says something like, didn't last night in bed you tell me that you wanted to marry a nice guy or something to that effect. And Anna says to her mother, people say funny things in bed. And I don't know why, like, I think that's true. You have those, like, sweet nothings and you have these, like, strange thoughts about the world and
You're a
existence.
little less filtered.
Yeah. I don't know why that resonated with me. It because people do say funny things in bed. It was quickly, I think it was followed up. I forget which one happened first, but I think
You're in the right order.
Okay. And so she's saying, again, we've only known each other for 10 days. This can't be real. And Rudolph says to her, it don't take 10 days to fall in love. It takes 10 seconds.
True.
So it's that, like, it doesn't matter if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Yep.
Love at first sight.
You're romantic.
I am.
All right, Serena, any notes?
No, you guys covered it all. You guys did a great job today.
Yeah. Okay. Martini Shot. Would you recommend this movie, Serena?
I would say, yeah. It's a great movie. I stayed engaged the entire time. Entertaining. Great soundtrack. Great acting.
I say yes as well, because Eartha Kitt's performance is just phenomenal.
Yeah, she really is good.
I don't know. I think I'm going to say yes with some caveats because I agree. The acting was great. I loved her. I loved Sammy Davis Jr. I even liked Rudolph and the family dynamics. How many times have we said it? But the story, I mean, I guess they did have a happy ending, but I don't know if I liked the storyline.
It was kind of convoluted. You couldn't really get a grasp on it.
Yeah, I had issues with the plot. So I did enjoy it. She is amazing. Yeah. Amazing.
I'm gonna like go look up her film.
Yeah, I feel like, and to a point where if I watch more of her films, I might recommend another one over this.
Fair.
Yeah, as soon as she stepped on the scene, I was like, oh.
Who is this?
Who is this?
Eartha's here.
Eartha is in the house.
All right. So I think that's about it for this episode. Thanks for joining us. We'll be posting what our next movie will be on Twitter tomorrow, so head on over there and hit that follow button. You can also follow us on Instagram. Our handle for both is @themoviemillies. To find more great episodes, head on over to our website, www.millennialsatthemoviehouse.com. So until next time,
we're millennials.
And we'll see you at the movie house.
And we'll see you. That's what she said.
Santa baby.